Yo.
What's up, gang? LFQ, Omni, how you boys doing? Hope you're having a lovely. Oh, yeah, that's a first. That's definitely a first for sure. Omni is back on the first train after he was rejecting it.
Why isn't the overlay?
Sorry about that. YouTube caught me out. It was fucking loud as shit. I was drinking a Red Bull. My apologies for the echo, boys. Yeah, everyone have a good weekend. You guys do fun stuff this weekend? I got my Tarkov ducks done. It took way more time than I wanted it to, but I didn't really do any duck hunting during the week. So,
What was the hardest ones?
What's that?
What was the hardest ones?
I don't think any of them were like particularly hard. It was just a lot of ducks. It was like, I don't know.
The reserve ones stressed me out.
Those were fine. I was thinking about it.
It was more just like Glucka. You know?
No, so I shot the helicopter duck from the pond buildings are good. And
Okay.
we got, I'm pretty sure we killed Glucka. Yeah, Aaron got the shot on.
I was there that one time you guys got in a fight with Sushi, with Gluhar and his guys, and Sushi got really messed up.
So did I. So did Aaron. Got her legs shot off. I got fucking plate tapped and both my arms gone. Sushi was like a husk. Yo, LFQ with the tier 3. Thank you. Thank you for the resub, brother. Thank you.
I gotta get this overlay fixed.
What's the overlay doing? Oh, the chat.
The chat's just not working. Man.
Yeah. So yeah, we're Tony's still fleshing out like web services and stuff for the business. So we've got, he's migrating things so we don't have like 16 different tools. You guys probably not aware of this. Brightside got a glimpse into it last week when we interviewed him. Also, LFQ, did you get a chance to catch the interview on the VOD? I hope you did. If you did, you enjoyed it, rather. That's what I mean. I hope that if you watched it, you thought it was useful. Chat was liking it. Everyone that was there during the interview was, saying it was a great thing, and they really enjoyed it. Yeah, I had a good time. It was hard for me to find the balance. Like, I've never really interviewed anyone. I've been interviewed, but yeah, I was trying to figure out the balance between like answering questions myself that I probably have an answer to, and then like fielding them to Brightside. I don't know. Yeah, it's all good, LFQ. I hope you enjoy it. We only got a little bit into some wacky conspiracy theories, but I feel like what I really wanted to do was try to get a little more insight into like what makes Brightside, like what his creative process was. And I feel like we got some of that. I feel like we got into the meat a little bit, which was cool.
We left that call. We talked, off the stream for, another 30 minutes. And even after we left that, I was like, man, I could do another 2 hours. I got 2 more hours of questions now that I could ask 100%.
It says no channel configured.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think he can see it, LFQ. He's got Tony has the secret technology switchboard stuff.
Something we haven't really mentioned that goes along with this is there is a brand new fractalgrove.com. We haven't really, shouted out about it yet. There's a lot of stuff coming on there that isn't quite ready yet, but we're working on merch. We're working on, kind of creating the same things that like Coffee and Twitch and Patreon and all of those things have, but where we don't have to use those services and it's all kind of self-hosted, and we don't have to pay fees to other people for those things. Lots of stream connected stuff, so like all of your like Twitch account is kind of associated with your login there, so it's all connected, and we'll do some cool stuff with that over time. So check it out. Let me know if you see any weird problems or anything.
I know you're probably still working on it, but it looks like the bot doesn't work with the Linktree and Discord commands. I don't know if that's related to the chat overlay or not.
Did it go into the chat when you did it?
No, I did the bang Linktree and bang Discord.
Okay. I'm gonna restart everything, I think.
Yeah, no worries, man. LFQ, if you want to, go take a look. Is it still you already migrated the domain or whatever?
Yeah, just good old fractalgrove.com now. Yep. And there's a new link tree if you want to manually type the link tree into chat for a second. It's kind of bare bones right now, but That's where all of that is going to live.
There we go. Hold up. All right, sweet. Okay. So let's hop into some news. Let me see what I got going here. I posted a bunch of stuff. I got a bunch of things that we can talk about. Let's get into, let's see. Did we talk about Jason Mimosa in Helldivers?
I don't think we did.
Yo, Brightside, what's up, brother?
Yo.
I was just telling LFQ about the interview last week, and I was saying I hope it went well. People in chat seem to really enjoy it. Omni said he really liked it. I was saying that I tried to go for like teasing out the inner Brightside, the thing that helps us understand who you are as like a creative and stuff. That's what I was trying to go for. So I hope we got there. It was interesting. I've never interviewed someone before, so I hope you enjoyed it too, man. I really appreciate that you hung out with us for a little bit and chatted. You got a couple messages that people enjoyed it as well? Hell yes, dude. Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you came through. Anytime you want to do another spot like that, if you want to, talk about a game you're working on or like a music release or something like that, I'm happy to have you on again. Okay, so yeah, we've got Jason Samoa's in Helldivers. I don't know what the fuck this means. They already have like a theater release date, November 10th, 2027. We don't even have a trailer for it.
Everybody said he should just like die within the first 10 minutes from like a drop pod falling on him or something, or it's not lore accurate.
Yeah, exactly. And then let's see what else. The next thing is Marathon has the whole fucking marketing machine is cranking. The clip saturation and all that stuff and the releases and whatnot. I guess trailers and teasers and stuff like that are in like full force. For those of you, if you're curious about Marathon and you want to try it, not this weekend, but the weekend after. So 1 week we'll get the open, free weekend that everyone can play the game. So be able to form your own opinion, decide if you want to play it or not. But the things have just been like going. Lots and lots of clips. I want to say it was Thursday after the interview. Was it Thursday we were looking at Burnt Peanut was playing with Joe Ziegler?
Correct. Yeah, it was like right after stream. Yeah.
Oh shit, LFQ actually got first. Damn, that sucks, Omni. Omni had first, but he didn't have first.
Well, I hadn't even started it yet at that point. I went and started it after that. I was reminded.
Okay. Well, LFQ got it. LFQ is the first goat still. LFQ the goat and on everything.
Edge there if you hadn't yet.
Okay.
Okay, never mind. Yep.
What's that? Oh, you're good?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so the Marathon thing has been like really, really moving along. As I follow some of this conversation, I think the most irritating thing is the Concord 3, Concord 4, whatever the fuck. Like, that whole discourse is so ridiculous.
What's Concord 4? Oh, it's the Horizon Zero.
No, that's 3. Marathon is Concord 4.
No, Marathon's 3. That one's 4.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't come out for a while. But yeah. So we already have Concord 4, guys. Congratulations.
Yep. So Concord is Concord 1. Highguard was Concord 2. The Horizon Hunters Gathering, whatever the fuck, is Concord 3, I guess. 4. And Marathon is Concord 3 because, yeah. It's so stupid because, like, this game, you look at the any of the gameplay, dramatically more polished, more finished, way better looking overall. I don't see how anyone is calling this Concord.
I kind of see a lot of complaints now of like people being sad that Concord is an extraction shooter because they think it looks really cool and they want to play it, but they think that they don't want to play an extraction shooter, I guess. But it's like they're doing a good job of making it look enticing to like people who don't even want to play it now, I think.
Yes. It's looking good. And I think Tony meant to say that Marathon's an extraction shooter, but yeah, yes, there's a lot of people who are like, man, this looks so cool. Too bad it's a stupid fucking extraction shooter again. I saw one person comment, it's Apex, it's Fortnite, it's an extraction shooter, and I'm like, neither of those are extraction shooters. You don't even know what you're fucking complaining about. And then they call it Concord again, and I'm like, why are we doing this? Like, why? I don't know. It's crazy. So even though it's looking good, I'm seeing some positivity pop up there, but there's all this like negative discourse that people are still trying to push, and I don't understand why. None of it's in good faith. It's just noise. I feel like I tried to apply like some level realism, or not realism, level criticism to like say what I think are the potential problems with the game. I still think it has a chance kind of somewhere in the middle. It's very, very different from what I played in the last tech test, which was months ago. So they were able to make some changes and clean some stuff up. I don't know if they ever got there, and it's going to be, still an evolving process. We don't know. You're just going to have to play it and see if it's for you or not.
I don't think it's ever as big as like Destiny probably was.
No.
Yeah.
And a part of that,
than Tarkov, maybe.
I don't think so. I think after the Steam release, Tarkov is like real fucking big now.
Would you say that Arc is bigger than Tarkov?
I don't know. I think that there's a chance that Arc is bigger on like Steam,
and like maybe at peak, but like probably not now.
Yeah, the thing you have to consider is that Tarkov's been around for 10 years, and the majority of the player base goes into the BSG launcher. They're not on any other platform. So we don't really know how many people there are. I think BSG has made public statements about how many people that, they've sold millions of units. We know that. So there are potentially millions of Tarkov players.
After it came out, even.
Yeah.
They said that. Yeah.
So there's millions of Tarkov players. Looking at Steam concurrency is not going to help in any way. Steam reviews aren't going to help in any way. This is it's one of those games that you're never really going to know how well it's doing, but Tarkov is fine. I mean, it's humming along. It's in the best place it's ever been in.
2026 first half roadmap this morning, actually.
They're getting a lot more like dialed in and professional with a lot of their stuff, which is really good to see. I think Tarkov's got a long future. It's probably going to be around for several more years. It really is like, if you're an FPS player, this is the first like FPS MMO. And I mean, in the way that people engage with this game, it's thousands of hours you can put into this game. The only other games like that are MMOs, and they don't have a similar type of gameplay loop with like, reaction time and aim skill and shit like that. If you were playing a traditional MMO, a lot of it was just like build crafting. We used to joke that it was like 3D spreadsheet simulator. Tarkov is very much not that. Tarkov
was just like automating everything so you could like watch a TV show or something while you're grinding or something. Yeah.
And I guess the reason I say like the actual first FPS MMO is because a lot of people have claimed that, or tried to claim that, like saying Destiny is an FPS MMO. I don't think that's the case. Having worked on it, like I understand why Bungie was like, this isn't an MMO, because it gives you the wrong impression. Destiny, if you were a Destiny player, there was usually about a month or a month and a half of new content for every cyclical release. And then you would have time where there was nothing else to do. You're just kind of like going through doing dailies, grinding for more shit if you wanted it. But I guess I see the comparison there is in World of Warcraft, there was always something to do. Like it would take you years to beat the game, to do everything, to complete everything and have all the items, whatever you were trying to do to get to the very end of a character and be like, there's literally nothing left for me to do. It took years of time. Destiny absolutely never had that. Destiny, you would be capped out and finished in, a month or two after release, for an expansion or.
And when some of those like smaller ones would come out, like
it was like 2 weeks.
Curse of Osiris or something, like we would beat most of the content the day it came out. We'd be done. And I don't know. That always felt bad. Tarkov manages, like, when they put new stuff out, like, I don't know, just because of the nature of the game, like, you're working for it for a while.
So I think the thing that I'm trying to say is that over time, Tarkov is, BSG has figured out how to nail that long tail. There's so much stuff to do. You kind of never really run out of things to do. You might argue, oh, there are streamers who've already escaped from Tarkov and they did it in like a month of time and like blah, blah, blah. Yeah, of course. But then they prestige, they do it all over again. There's still rewards to chase. I mean, I think you can prestige to like 6 or something like that, which is crazy. That means you're playing the entire game over and over again. You don't even need to escape Tarkov to prestige. You can prestige at, I think, 48. It was either 40. It used to be 55. They reduced it to 48 or something like that because people were complaining about how much XP you had to grind, because you could complete all of your tasks if you were very, very good at it. And you only did tasks. You can complete them all by a certain level, and then you still had to grind out, like, and the way their XP system worked, it was exponential. So like,
and tasks are the only thing that give you good XP. And so when you don't have any tasks left, that hurts.
Yeah, then you're just going on raids and trying to kill bosses and
legitimately getting a 20th probably of the XP you get from like one task for doing a 1 hour raid and like looting everything and killing everyone. Crazy.
Yeah, when I say it's exponential, it's like the amount of XP it takes to get from level 5 to level 6 is all of the XP to get to level 5 and some. So that increases every level. So when you get to level 48, it takes you all of the experience that it took to get to 48 and some extra to get to 49. So if that keeps going and you've got, 6 levels to get to 55 or whatever to prestige, like, that's a lot of time.
That was brutal. So, I remember WoW was like 60 to 70 was equivalent to 1 to 60, and that was really brutal. But like, not 60 to 61 was 1 to 60, and then 61 to 62 was 1 to 61 or whatever. That people would still be working on it. But yeah.
So I guess that's why I see that as like a true MMO. Hey, how you doing, Sushi? And I don't think social plays as much a part of what makes an MMO an MMO. It's a game as a service that you can play forever. There's a lot of stuff that you can just keep doing, and if you choose to, but beating the game is sort of not the objective. It's like being a player of the game. Destiny's design philosophy was very much different in focusing on engagement first and not stuff to do. So lots of busy work tasks, random things that just you like the bounty system where you always have something to do, but it doesn't really give you any meaningful rewards. In Tarkov, pretty much every task you do gives you something meaningful. At the lowest level, it's a large chunk of XP. At the highest level, it's an unlock of some new capability for storage, stats, something. Like you get a new thing that progresses your overall state of the game. And that's well designed, very well designed. Anyway, so I think my concern here is that if you consider Tarkov as the gold standard for extraction shooters, where do these other things hold up? And I've heard that a lot of people who played Ark are not playing anymore because the only thing they have left to do. So a great example, I've been watching Pestely's hardcore series. He was talking about how much he really enjoyed Ark, had a great time in it, but he had nothing left to do except for trials, which were like the competitive higher end activity. Then he was like, I did a few of those and then there was nothing else to do. I didn't want to do trials anymore. So I just went back to Tarkov, was worried that I wasn't going to have a lot of fun playing it. He's like, but Tarkov is great. He's like, I immediately started having fun again and, was reminded why I like this game a lot. And he's like, I could be playing Ark, but I don't want to. He's like, I like playing PoE. I like playing Tarkov, and that's what I do. So I guess that's the mindset I'm thinking about. Like, Ark doesn't have the legs that Tarkov has. There's many reasons for that. That's, Tarkov is a 10-year-old game. Ark is a 1-year-old game, not even 1 year. So that's a part of it. Let's let's see, what else do we have? Yeah, so I guess my concern is, does Marathon have those legs? How long until someone is done with Marathon? Are they going to play it for a month and then all they have left is like the competitive season? And then they're like, I don't want to do this anymore. Is it going to be a, like, what's the really long tail chase? You know, I feel like in my short time, I got some pretty good upgrades for my corporations. I didn't get all of the corporations, so that's a good sign. Typically, in my experience, I did stuff with like SIAC, New Caloric. I did a little bit of Traxxas and a little bit of like Sekiguchi or something like that in the latest one. Those were more fleshed out. You could only really work on like one or two factions in the very first playtest. So if all of those have meaningful rewards to chase, and it's cool and it's good in terms of like providing a reason for a player to keep playing every day, you know, then it has legs, and we'll see how it goes. It's going to be very tricky. We got to play for ourselves. We'll figure it out very soon. Let's see. Okay, we're doing since I talked about Helldivers, we're doing a Resident Evil cinematic universe, whatever the fuck, reboot again. The interesting thing here is that the director who's been tapped to do it is the director that did Weapons, which is a really good movie. But this article was saying, so it's Zach Kreger is the director here. And the public statement is that Zach Kreger has carte blanche to do whatever he wanted to do with the Resident Evil franchise. So, yeah, that's how it's going to go. I'm nervous just because there's not a lot of good history from Hollywood doing this stuff. I liked Weapons. I didn't think it was all that creepy. I don't know. I thought it was really cool. It was neat. Yeah, I don't know. It like, I didn't find it as unnerving as I thought it was going to be. The haircutting scene, yeah, that was.
I've heard good things about it. I just haven't seen it yet.
It's a good movie. You should watch it. It's definitely creepy, but it's not like.
I've heard good things.
Like, I think it was probably more terrifying. I'm talking like the re-release, you know, with Egg Boy and all that. It could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. I kind of feel like I'd rather not have the higher ups looking down on the director and telling them what to do. Yeah. I think it's a careful balance, you know? I guess what I mean to say is, when you consider how Nintendo handled the Super Mario movie, I thought that was fucking perfect. They did such a good job handling the IP. Everything was like couched in Nintendo stuff. It was very faithful. You know, contrastingly, you had the 1989 one with Bob Hoskins, and like, that was not faithful. It was not good. We have that. We have the Milla Jovovich Resident Evil movies, which I really like, but they don't really make any sense. They don't follow Resident Evil at all. It's like a weird,
like, very loosely follow the game. Yeah. I have the trailer for this one up because Vince and I were talking about this, but like, this one came out in 2021. Pretty closely follows the events of the first game. Has Chris and Claire and Leon and Raccoon City and all of the beats that is supposed to be in Resident Evil 1. It's good, and I don't know. I had no complaints. I don't think it did super well. Wesker's in it. Like, I don't know. It was passable. They could have taken this. They could have just made Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, Resident Evil 4 for once, which they never do, and it would have been awesome. And now they're rebooting it again, and I don't know if the graphic that's on our thing actually has anything to do with it for real, but like, are they doing like a weird animated one again?
I have no idea.
Right here. Yeah. Because I don't know if you saw these like weird CGI Resident Evil films that they made in the late 2000s, I would
I've
guess.
seen one of those. Yeah, it was weird.
Not great. And they're dubbed, and yeah, just kind of strange, but I don't know.
Oh, okay. Adder's saying the Game of Thrones show Night of the Seven Kingdoms is actually pretty good. I'll have to check it out because I've been very like skeptical of whether or not that's going to be interesting.
Did you like the other one?
No,
I haven't watched it.
the other one was just like shocking violence all the time, and I was like, that's not the point of any of these. I have not seen Welcome to Derry. Yeah, I think I've told you guys before. I'm not a huge fan of horror. A lot of the reason I'm watching horror recently is because of Dread. I'm like trying to get myself, my brain in that mode of like understanding all these things, like why horror is meaningful to people and why people enjoy it as a genre. So I remember the haircutting scene. It's when she falls asleep in her car and like the person cuts a lock of her hair off while she's sleeping and she doesn't realize it. Yeah, that was very unnerving. And the empty streets were really good. Yeah, so empty streets are like very clearly good inspiration for Dread, especially in the neighborhood. That was pretty decent. Same VFX were amazing, but story and characters were very solid as well. Game of Thrones got through every episode. Damn, Sushi binged it. Nice. Okay. Yeah, the trailer made it look really bad. Okay. So that's two of you saying that it's pretty good.
Okay.
4 and 5 were two of my favorite Game of Thrones episodes of all time. Okay, Adder. All right.
Is Night of the Seven Kingdoms the something in egg story?
I don't know. I don't know if it's something in egg. I don't know if it has anything to do with egg.
There's like a side story that George R.R. Martin wrote to Game of Thrones that's called, it's like two guys' names, and one of them is Egg, something in egg. And I kind of think that that's maybe what Night of the Seven Kingdoms is, but I'm not positive. Duncan and Egg. There you go.
They know. You guys know about egg. I don't even know about egg.
I used to be the most ultra Game of Thrones nerd. I know the things.
So Egg is like a character's name, I guess?
I think it's like his friend or his squire or something. Sir Dunk. Yep.
Oh man, that sounds so goofy. Sir Dunk and Egg. I don't
Yeah. I actually don't really know, especially these days. I might have at one point, but like I don't even really know what that story is anymore. I just know that like people talk about it like they talk about the Expanse novellas, which is like very positively. Like everybody says you have to read the Expanse novellas, and a lot of Game of Thrones people always said that this is, aside from the main story, probably the best part of it. So yeah.
Okay. It has good humor in it. All right. I mean, I'll check it out. If you guys are saying it's good, I'll definitely give it a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, House of the Dragon Snooze Fest. Yeah, that was my issue with House of the Dragon. It was like a bunch of like intrigue and drama and then just like turbo violence and gore. And I was like, what the fuck is this? I don't want any of this.
And just, I don't know, they wanted us to watch like not Game of Thrones and not Lord of the Rings and like all of these like weird fantasy spin-off shows. Like I was really tired of it at the time, especially. So
I think that one was Corpo Slop. They were like, this is the formula of why people liked it. Let's just have a new cast of characters, tell a very similar story, and like have all the same narrative devices that exist in Game of Thrones. And I'm just like, nah, this is bad. Every character was the same type of character. Exactly. They were all very derivative of the original show as well. Yeah, Uncle Lover Dude was crazy. Very much gory. Definitely more than House of the Dragon, surprisingly. Okay, all right. It's not the gore that I'm complaining about. It was just meant for like shock value in House of the Dragon, because like you'd have this whole scene and it would just be like, oh, suddenly someone's being disemboweled, and I'm like, why? Like what's this? Serves no purpose other than me being like, ugh. I thought it was like disrespectful to the audience, condescending, like you'll accept this because it's just weird and unnerving to you, and it just wasn't very coherent. Jousting shots made it worth it alone. 95% practical effects. I'm into that adder. That's very cool. Hard pivot. Well, I guess not hard pivot, but just a little bit of a pivot. Good news for some of you guys who want to hit the nostalgia trip, but Unreal Tournament 2K4 is available to play for free in 4K, licensed or like approved of by Epic.
It's right here on my screen in the corner.
Tony checked it out. Yep. It works. You can play Unreal 2K4. Sorry, UT2K4 is playable now.
Totally free. Like one-click install. Works great. Yep.
You just might get like 19 viruses, but hopefully it doesn't work that way.
You got to download an exe from a fairly sketchy looking website and YOLO it, and it opens up a terminal and does a bunch of shit. But the game ran afterwards, so.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Sushi. The character development in Game of Thrones was really good. But I will say that my biggest criticism with Martin and with DB Weiss and whatever the fuck his name is that ran Game of Thrones is that they would spend a lot of creative effort developing a character, and as soon as that character was painted into a corner and you didn't know where it was going to go, they were going to die. They just died. And I'm like, continue your story. Don't be like, I developed this whole character and made you really like it just to kill it. Like, that's what pissed me off. I felt like that was ham-fisted writing. It's much harder to have a character go through a bunch of crazy situations and be really involved with a bunch of shit and like resolve it in an interesting way than to just kill the character. Killing the character is an easy way out as a writer.
Do you guys think George R.R. Martin will ever actually write another book?
Nah, I think he's done. Bro's vibing with his like sailor hat, you know, chilling in a swimming pool. That's what he's doing.
That's so crazy.
I mean, he made his bag, dude. He spent his career being like a struggling author, and then
but you can look at authors like the guy who wrote Wheel of Time was dying, and he handed it off to like Brandon Sanderson to take over because he wanted it to be finished, and he told him like what the story should be and stuff. And apparently, I haven't read Wheel of Time yet. We have most of them now that my wife's been collecting, but apparently Brandon Sanderson did a great job of taking over and getting it finished up. And the George R.R. Martin's assistants used to be the guys who wrote the entire Expanse series since they stopped working with him after the last book came out. Like, that's how long it has been since he has written a book.
Not all creatives are in it for love of the game, Tony. I think Martin is probably jaded. There was probably a time where Martin was writing out of passion, and then he was like, this is all I fucking know how to do, and I hate it now. And
it's honestly probably a better alternative that he just never put the book out than put it out and everybody fucking hate it. So
yeah, exactly.
I get that.
Yeah, so I think he goes out on top. He did his thing. He's got a legacy. And realistically, all that's ahead of him is like his chance to ruin his fucking legacy. So tap out, take your bag, walk away on top. That's
if he was confident he could write a better ending than the show did, like he could probably make another $100 million selling books, but you got to do it though, and I don't think that's a guarantee at all these days. So
I still think that's one of the things, say whatever you want about this person, but I think that's one of the most impressive things to me about J.K. Rowling is that she became a billionaire, whatever the fuck it is, like incredibly wealthy off of a novel series. Like, that's wild. Just to be able to drive all that way.
Second most popular book after the Bible.
Yeah, that's guys, like whatever you want to say about that human being, she is very good at vision and business and like licensing her IP and negotiating, and that all comes from
nothing about whether she stole the ideas, which a lot of people say she did. Like, it doesn't matter. She is a billionaire.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, there's no it's totally fine. Like my biggest criticism
for every piece of popular media that's ever been created is like, this person did it first and they stole it. But
my biggest criticism of her work was that the first Harry Potter book is very difficult for me to read. It's like as bad as Christopher Paolini's first book, Aragon, like, and that dude wrote that when he was like 14. So I'm just like, I understand that she was a single mom, working class, struggling when she wrote the book, and she wrote it for her kid. It shows, I think, and a lot of people would disagree with me and say, no, Harry Potter's fucking great. Like, the first book is really good. I love it. It's so bad. It's really bad. The writing is not good. I'm not going to say that she knows better. She doesn't, the writing definitely got better as she wrote more books. But yeah, I really I prefer the movies personally, because I don't have an attachment to Harry Potter books. I was a little too old. And
I've read the books, no exaggeration,
yeah.
maybe 10 times each, something like that over my life. And yeah, I don't know. I agree with everything you're saying. They're really good, but yeah, I don't like reread them now or anything. I just really liked them when I was a kid. And I don't know. The part that, in my opinion, has not aged well is some of the characters' names. They're just on the nose, very racist. But
yeah, I think for me, it was that I was already into different YA fiction, YA young adult fiction. So for me, the one that stuck the most, a good writer, but too many books that are very similar. Brian Jakes, it's spelled Jacques with an S on the end, but I guess he's British and pronounces it Jakes. I don't know, whatever. But he wrote Mossflower and Redwall and all that, and I loved that series. So I was very, very, very into those. And he was still writing books, and I was reading Otherland when Harry Potter came out, and I was just like, I don't know. And I mean, I read Aragon, and I really like that. Aragon and Eldest, Christopher Paolini, a kid. The second book is way better than the first one because he learned some stuff, worked with his editors more.
I only ever read the first one, but I remember actually liking the first one a lot. But again, I was probably in 5th or 6th grade, so it was a little more aimed at my age probably.
Sushi, that's why I always try to say, Brightside, we were talking about this, on stream in the interview, about creativity and all that. I think this is really hard, and I fully understand the point you're making. So I have this very strong sense of ambivalence, which, is oxymoronic in a way, but I have this strong sense of ambivalence around separating an artist from the art they make, because we're all human beings. We're all fallible. We have different opinions and perspectives that almost nobody else is going to agree with ever, 100% of the time, right? We all have a unique perspective. And that perspective that J.K. Rowling has is why she was able to create art that resonated with so many people. And her business savvy is why she was able to make, it super important to everyone, right? So regardless of personal opinions and shit she says in the public, that's why I say separate the artist from the art, right? She has some opinions that people find hateful or bigoted or aggressive and mean and stuff like that. That's not the important thing. Just it's to remember that she made art. I think to Brightside's point from last week, if people are complicit in causing large scale harm to other parts of humanity, maybe that's when you go, I shouldn't support this. I don't know. It's really hard because I don't know how you go, let's overturn this entire established thing by not participating in it. It's not easy to do. Very difficult. And especially when we're talking about art, it's easier for people when they're starving, to death or imminently in danger of, going to prison forever, or being disappeared or separated from the family. All of those things that are very real and affect people's lives are way more important than someone's opinion about something else that someone does. Because it's just an opinion. Opinions change, they're ideas. The ideas are not the person. I don't know. That's kind of what I'm going for. But I get it. I totally understand why people do not like her and don't like the things she says. I totally get it. I'm even out here saying she's not a great writer. That's my criticism, is that I'm looking at her art saying I think Harry Potter is a poorly written book. And I mean the first one. I understand she got a lot better towards the end of the series, which makes sense when she's going to get better at it every time she writes a new book. Sushi says, I understand there's a limit to what we can separate. Of course, speech is literally only harmful to others and helpful to none. And then it's hard to separate, at least separate with a degree of support. So yeah, Sushi, I make the distinction here in that speech hurts people's feelings. Violence is violence, and that's a very different thing. So when I'm saying like you can't go to the grocery store to get food to feed your family, you can't leave your job because if you do, you'll go to jail. I'm not talking about like, I can't leave my job because this pays me a wage and this is the only skill I have. There's a very hard line between like actual violence and oppression and like words and intention. Like, soft oppression is very different. So that's the thing I'm trying to say. And I guess the distinction I'm making is that this specific person has words that hurt people's feelings and make them feel bad. That's different than like, someone with a weapon stopping you from doing a thing or endangering your life or the life of those people that you care about, right? Like that there is a very distinct thing there. Blurring that line, I think, is dangerous. Also in the files, turn off her tracker for her yacht. Bro, everyone's in the files. Right. Like that's the thing. Everyone's
in the fucking files, man.
Yeah, dude. Ableton remixing shit in the files for the island parties, whatever, bro. There should be a degree of responsibility for those who say things of the platform, especially when their art is aimed at youth. So, Sushi, I'm not a fan of like cancel culture in many different ways. And I mean, I'm not a fan of cancel culture when people were mad at Keurig for being like woke or whatever. So they were destroying their own Keurig machines. I'm like, you already gave them the money. Like it's just a weird thing. It's all performative. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. A lot of people get caught up since we're in this information age and information is just everywhere all the time. You get caught up in like people's ideas being the most important thing. And it's just not true. Action is a lot more important. Yeah, and I think when it comes to degree of responsibility, if your platform is, so say you are a talent that appears on a television station that is a corporate owned television station, your responsibility is to them. If they don't like what you're saying, that's your job. You got to get on board with their direction and do the thing that they say. If you don't, you lose your job. That's a consequence. I think if there are if the public, like, I guess what I'm getting at is like mob rule is bad. If people are like, this is my opinion and my opinion's really loud, and we have this whole group of people with the same opinion and we want this person to go away because we don't like the words they're saying, that's a problem in my mind. You don't combat bad ideas with suppression of a voice. You combat them with better ideas and discourse and debate and argument. That's how you beat them. That's like the cornerstone of free speech. Let's see. Her team invited him to a Harry Potter play after he went away. Keurig is in the files. I mean, bro, I don't know about that. What I was speaking about was the original cancel culture. Was a bunch of conservatives were smashing their Keurig machines because Keurig machines were woke for some reason. It was fucking stupid. The point that I'm making is that these people had already purchased these devices as consumers, and in protest, they were filming themselves destroying their own like $200 coffee maker. And I'm like, you already bought it. It doesn't work. It's stupid. It's all the same thing is what I'm getting at. It's all the same thing. I think it's important to understand that words can start or reinforce movements, which can have greater effect than a single person causing physical harm. Right. I'm talking about a government or an entity that's in control of power, that has consolidated power and can act through force. I'm not talking about one person. So that's where I'm saying there's a huge difference. We have structures, in our society, at least, that if an individual has caused harm physically to someone, there's repercussions for that, and they're handled by a system. That's, yeah. I don't think there's a gray area. That's the thing I'm saying that is dangerous. When we make a gray area, we cause actual violence and like hurt feelings to be the same thing, and they're not the same thing at all. They're not even close to the same thing. Yeah,
maybe talk about hard drives or something.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we talked about UT2K4, which is cool. We can talk about speaking of like strong opinions, what's this fucking guy's name? David Jaffe, that's it. The God of War guy. David Jaffe is a wild boy on social media, has popped off and said a lot of crazy ass fucking things.
David Jaffe was the director of Twisted Metal games and the
original God
of Wars.
Yeah. So this dude apparently was popping off on social media, angry about a 2D spinoff of the God of War franchise that he's partially responsible for creating, called God of War Sons of Sparta, which was announced at, was it State of Play? Yeah, State of Play presentation. They announced that they're going to do this, partnership with Sony Santa Monica Studio.
Shadow dropped, maybe?
Yes, it did shadow drop.
I don't even know if this is the right game. Maybe?
No, it's God of War Sons of Sparta.
Oh, okay,
it's definitely not
similar too. Weird. Okay.
So David Jaffe's quote is, "What the fuck are they thinking? This game doesn't respect the license." So I guess even though he's not even there anymore, and he's like mad that they're using a license that he was working on. Cheap viewers, get the fuck out of here, bro. Wait, where's my ban tool? Yo, ban this motherfucker. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. Goodbye.
You can keep talking. I'm just trying to get this up here.
that was not your friend. Yeah, Sushi, I think on that point, I don't. Okay, there are consequences for your actions. I don't think the consequences should be like loss of livelihood because of opinions someone has. The easiest way to avoid that, just don't share your opinions. Just don't. That's the risk of what we're doing, right? Like I'm out here sharing opinions. Yeah, I guess that's just my take on it. It's like it doesn't matter. It's not a part of the same thing. There's too many other things to worry about, like I don't know, surveillance state, Palantir, flock cameras, fucking AI data centers, the RAM. Let's talk about this. We'll talk about the RAM apocalypse. Okay, so I've got multiple articles that discuss this specifically. Namely, so let's start with Western Digital. So Western Digital is a PC peripherals manufacturer. They primarily
create SSDs and hard drives.
Right. Yeah. They mostly create storage devices. They have made a statement that all of the stock of products that they sell, for storage devices, hard drives, for 2026 is gone. It's sold. Western Digital has no more stock for the calendar year 2026.
And they said that 5% went to the consumer market, something like that. So 95% was data centers and corporations.
Yep. So that's worrisome. And then
so it's like probably too late now, but like if you foresee needing storage in the next calendar year, like you have to buy it right now or you literally won't be able to get it.
Hey, what's up, Gut Grinder? How you doing? So yeah, that being said, following suit after, you know, Western Digital's announcement. We've also got a lot of in the games industry, hardware manufacturers are talking about problems. First of which, you know, the rumored release of the PS6. There was a, let me make sure that I read this so I know exactly where this information came from. AI data centers, blah, 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 big tech companies. Okay, where the fuck did this specifically come from? I want to talk about the PS6. Oh my God, they're talking about Nintendo in this fucking PlayStation article. Anyway, I want to say it was like a financial call or something like that, where they were talking about projected release dates or, you know, market launch dates for the PS6. And Sony in that call, somewhere around there, something was saying this probably isn't going to happen until 2028 or 29 when the markets stabilize for, you know, memory chips. So yeah, that's the PS6 potentially being delayed because of that. We don't even have an announcement of the PS6. So this is a lot of speculation. One thing we know that did definitely happen, the Asus ROG Xbox Ally got a price increase of $200 per unit in Japan because of the memory problem, with, you know, the availability of physical chips. And the Steam Deck is out of stock in the US. Valve warns of intermittent memory and storage shortages, so they're not producing units anymore, or at least not able to fulfill stock that they need to sell these things. So the Steam Deck is also, you know, not in the market. Furthermore, the Switch 2, what was that other article I was looking at? There was something about the Switch 2 where they were saying that prices might need to increase or something else. So basically everyone's just like, yeah, it's about to get really, really, really bad for physical memory. And the reason for this, we talked about a little bit, is that all of the, you know, what were you saying, Tony? It was like 95% of the business goes to like data centers and tech companies.
Yep.
The consumer market, us, is only 5% for someone like Western Digital, right? So these, you know, what we're thinking about here is like AI companies that need to build massive data centers to have a ton of compute, right? NVIDIA making GPUs. GPUs are going to be in trouble because they have, you know, memory chips on the GPU that they can't get. All of these chips have been purchased in like a frenzied way by all these big tech companies because they're all kind of trying to fight each other for stock. So you got like a new AI company that goes, we're going to purchase, you know, $500 million worth of chips. That might be like the most of the stock that a company can manufacture in like a calendar year. So then other companies hear about this and like, fuck, we can't make our products. So then they go buy a bunch of stock. Then they start looking for alternatives. And so basically all of these companies are just scooping up all of the RAM they can get right now because RAM's in danger. And it's an artificial demand surge because of all of these like startup tech companies that are building out data centers for one reason or another. It's very irritating. Because it doesn't need to work this way. It's only happening because people got too much money on, you know, these ventures. I mean, fuck, we're potentially in a world where like a lot of these RAM chips that are purchased by companies never get used. They sit in a fucking box in a warehouse.
There's a story about OpenAI buying raw silicon disks that manufacturers would use to produce chips in some weird bid to like effectively take them off the market so that they would control them and then be able to dole them out to their partners so that they would have more access to manufacturing stock, basically.
Resource hoarding.
It's getting fucking insane. Like they're just taking it off the market so that nobody can have it except for them if they decide to do something with it, and their company doesn't have the capabilities to do anything with it.
I mean, yeah, LFQ. This is potentially affecting everything. I mean, cars have
every single thing.
RAM in them now.
We're at chip shortage again from 2020.
Yeah, it's very stupid. But yeah, these silicon chips are in everything. We have microcircuitry in all devices that we use. Like, I mean, fuck, refrigerators have RAM in them. Like, that's it.
Every car, every
This is
appliance,
crazy.
every phone, every TV. Yep.
And
Thermostat.
it's an artificial shortage, which makes it even more irritating. It only happened because someone got enough money to go buy all the things, and then that made someone else panic buy. It made someone else panic buy. All the biggest players saw this happening, and so they bought everything. And it's like, guys, like, I know you can do that, but this is fucked up. Stop doing this. So I don't know. Also, regarding the Steam Deck in the EU, I can only buy the 1 terabyte OLED version. The rest is out of stock. Is that the like super fancy one? That sounds super fancy. 1 terabyte OLED.
And Steam has come out and said we're having stock issues on the Steam Deck because of the chip shortage right now.
Yep. So, yeah, I think as Tony said, the time might already be gone. If you needed memory or
it's going to get worse.
Storage, you had to do it last year.
It's going to be better now than it's going to be in 3 months. That's for sure. You know.
Yeah, you're looking at like a year or longer before it's going to normalize again.
Yeah,
because the data centers will be built
are planning 1 to 2 years out, so they can literally tell us it's going to be fucked up for the whole year right now, and they're probably pretty right.
Yep. And the crazy thing is that if you're one of these chip manufacturers, you're chill. You sold all your fucking inventory. You're on like back order for shit. You're making tons of money. So
you're trying to figure out, how do we make more?
Yeah.
People will buy them. 100% people will buy them if you can make more.
And the crazy part about it is when you consider this, the chip Armageddon, you know, that everyone's talking about, Ramageddon and all this, it's artificial. It doesn't need to exist. You know, it's supply and demand. That's just the way it works for a free market. It's silly. It's all very silly. And then, you know, you've got these people talking about like, we're facing some dire circumstances. Like, dude, we're not. Why are we sensationalizing it? Like, yeah, it's going to be a pinch. It's going to be tough. We got to figure out solutions for this in the future. Who knows what they are? But, you know, regulating the free market is probably not the best plan when it comes to goods like this. Services makes more sense because it's not a tangible, you know, product. But regulating like trade of goods is a little crazy, right? So, and the reason I say this, there's a really good example with government cheese and the dairy industry in the United States. There's something like, I don't even know how many tons, but there are tons of government cheese. The reason it's cheese is because there's a subsidy on the dairy industry. There's a certain percentage of dairy that needs to go to the government in the United States. That dairy is held. This is like a World War II era thing. It was like food for the troops. So they have this government subsidy where certain percentage of the dairy industry is just held by the government. You get paid for it, but it's a fixed rate. So you're making less money than what the dairy market does. So there's a chunk of it that just goes straight to the government. They're like, we need this. It's a national security imperative. You know, we got this anyway.
Also, apparently the government cheese goes hard. Everybody says it's like really, really good.
So. It's like Velveeta. It's as weird as that sounds.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's like turbo Velveeta.
Or like a cheddar or something. But
the reason they turned the milk into cheese is because it lasts longer. And they ultra process it so that it has a very stable shelf life. They store it in like underneath a mountain so that it stays fresh.
Yeah, there's like a bunker full of cheese somewhere.
The bunker full of cheese is like 350 tons of cheese. Yes. It's an absurd amount of cheese.
Government cheese caves right here.
Yep. And the government has been stockpiling this shit since World War II. So anyway, if we think about historically, this is what happens when the government steps in and says, we need this because it's a national security imperative. You end up with stockpiles of fucking cheese. Like if we have the government get involved with like RAM chips, we're going to have stockpiles of fucking RAM chips that never go to anyone. It's so stupid. So that's why I say it's potentially dangerous or risky to regulate the free market in that way.
The thing I can't figure out with the data centers is by the time they finish building the data centers, the chips that they designed the data centers to use are highly, highly obsolete. They've probably been replaced like 3 or 4 times. and the chips to furnish a data center has got to be, I don't know, in the $50 billion neighborhood or something like that. It's taking all of the manufacturing for the entire world off the table. It's probably going to be kind of a complete waste of money by the time they can roll it out. And it's just, I don't know.
Ooh, I had an interesting thought here. When this market readjusts and people are not buying absurd amounts of RAM, the production pipeline is probably going to have ramped up, and there will be way too much supply and not as much
manufacturers
demand.
are already coming out, and this isn't across every industry, but they say we learned our lesson with COVID, where a bunch of stuff spiked, and so everybody spiked their manufacturing to try to meet it, and then it stopped immediately, because everybody like got everything they needed or like wanted to go back outside, and so everybody's left holding the bag and making a bunch of stuff that nobody wanted. And there's been a ton of companies that have just said like, look, we recognize that there's supply shortages and that there's a big backlog for our products and stuff, but we just don't want to end up in that same situation in 2020. So we're gonna fulfill as fast as we can, but we're not going to go out of our way to like double our manufacturing capabilities for like a small blip on the radar. And it makes sense, but it probably is one of those things that will apply to this situation as well.
Well, I hope that doesn't happen, and I hope that there is like an excess of volume, because that means the price goes down.
100%. Yeah. And I mean, long term, I don't know. You could look at it as AI is not going anywhere. The necessity of these chips is only going to continue to increase.
Yep.
All of these manufacturers probably have to be seeing that and increasing their capabilities. And, downstream, hopefully us consumers will benefit from that eventually. Like, what happens when the data center sells all of their super high-end AI GPUs and flood the market, and like maybe you can get one and put it in your gaming computer or something. I don't know if that's going to happen someday, but maybe.
What's up, Mocap? Mocap, have you ever tried the Flamin' Hot Doritos Cool Ranch? I know that sounds crazy, but it's really good. Bright side, they keep promising 4x the speed as the last version. How can it keep multiplying in speed? It's finite, but we are rapidly approaching the
Moore's law.
Yeah,
we're
it's
beating Moore's law with AI right now. Because Moore's law is something about how like technology can only increase at a certain rate, and like they've been using that for like 100 years basically to determine like how far we'll be able to get with technology in a certain period of time, just based on the rate of change that is like in their minds physically possible. And then as soon as ChatGPT and stuff started coming out, they started saying like we break Moore's law like once a month or something now. But we are like definitely reaching like the physical constraints of like reality with like the Planck constant and stuff, where they can't manufacture things smaller than they do because of physics.
And when we hit that point, that's when a new technology is going to be released. Quantum computing or something like that, right? Like this is a different quantum computing doesn't solve a memory issue. It's a totally different thing. But
because the only thing you can do after that is do more at once, and that's where quantum is really going to excel, is you can do like everything at once.
Yep. So we don't know what memory constraints would be for a quantum computing device. We just don't know, because the architecture doesn't quite exist yet. It's all still very like proof of concept.
Astronomical.
Yeah. But I mean, what's the architecture of a quantum computing device, right? Like
it's true. Maybe
it would be totally different.
That can hold all possibilities at once. And I don't know. Yeah. It breaks my brain.
It's totally fucking different. And if you guys are wondering what we're talking about, quantum computing is a very complicated thing. It doesn't use, microcircuitry and electronics in the way that we know, where we're passing electrons.
There's no binary. There's no ones and zeros.
Right. You have 1 and 0 at the same time, which is crazy. And that is because of superposition. So we're talking about subatomic particles, and using subatomic particles so instead of starting with like a silicon chip or a vacuum tube, which is at a macro scale comparatively, we're talking about very, very small pieces of matter being used to calculate stuff. And then when you get that small, you have a different set of physics rules that you use. So with microcircuitry and passing electrons along silicon, there are physical limitations that we're approaching. Another alternative is light, because light can carry more throughput. So we could use light. But I don't know. It almost seems
this is where you get into like
a waste
superposition and stuff with quantum computers, right? Like that's the big thing. And superposition is where like a particle is like in two states at once, basically, all states at once, whatever. And that's how they, like, instead of calculating one possibility at a time, it calculates all possibilities like Doctor Strange at the same time or something. I don't know. And they look like these crazy sculptures. Like all of them kind of look like this because of the way that they are. They have to be like below absolute zero or something to function, or like close to absolute zero.
As close to absolute zero as possible.
Like liquid nitrogen cooling and like crazy shit.
And the superposition is a really weird thing. If you guys have ever heard the observer paradox or Schrodinger's cat, that's what it's all about. And the easiest way to understand it, I think, for the layman is it's the double slit experiment, where they discovered that a photon is a different, type of a particle. So typically, if something is a particle versus a wave, that was me. I slapped a thing. Particle versus a wave. There's different behaviors that you'll observe in physics. So if you have a barrier with two slits cut into it, a waveform will express itself on the opposite side of the slits in a different way than a burst of particles will. So with the photon, that was when they discovered, like, if you're looking at it, you get results that are either a particle or a wave. I don't remember exactly which one because I'm not super up on quantum physics, but you'll get it. The test results will show a certain way. If you're not observing it, the test results are different. That's a really fucked up thing to think about.
Observer paradox, right?
Yeah. That's where they discovered quantum superposition. And what superposition is both things are true. They are a wave, they are a particle. It's really fucking weird, and it changes.
The cat is both dead and alive in the box until you observe.
Until you look at it, until you open the fucking box, then you're observing one of the states. You could close the box, open it again, and it could be alive again.
But before you observe it, nobody.
It
right, because like nobody knows the answer, so it's both until somebody knows the answer. And I don't know. We're getting into philosophy and like astrophysics and all sorts of crazy stuff, but
Sushi, that was quantum entanglement. So the way that works is you can have two
referencing three body. Let's go.
Yeah, you can have two particles using superposition that exist in different physical locations at the same time, and what happens to one particle happens to the other particle at the exact same time.
This is how the sophons communicated across the universe, right? Okay.
Yeah, because one sophon is on Earth, the other sophon is at a different place in the universe. Those two sophons are quantum entangled, so that means that they're the same particle, which is really fucking weird, but they exist in two physically different locations. When you observe them, you see what's happening to both at the same time because it's the same thing. It's really fucking weird.
The other one from the three-body problem is them like blowing up a particle into the 12th dimension so that they can like etch a computer on the face of it while it's wrapped around their planet, and then like make it back into a particle and send it to Earth. Like, insane.
That is a relativistic law. That's conservation of information. So say you have a million informations at full dimensional space. When you collapse that into a two-dimensional space, you still have a million informations, but it's represented in two dimensions, meaning it's flat. It only has length and width, or length and height.
Is that the mass dot did too? Is it like made everything 2D?
Yeah, it collapsed things, and you still have information, but it's not in the same dimension anymore. Yeah, the eyeball dimension. Yeah.
In three-body, there was an eyeball dimension?
I think that might have been the sophon unfolding itself as an eye, but there was also the pocket dimension. There was really weird shit in there. I think that might be what he's talking about.
Yeah,
exactly. LFQ's totally right. 100% on that. It doesn't actually work with big experiments like an actual cat, because a cat is composed of many, many, many pieces of matter. We're talking about one particle of matter. and that one particle is subatomic, so it doesn't even have all the information. It fills a very specific role. What I mean by that is something that is like an electron or a proton, or even smaller. Typically, it's smaller if we're talking about quantum entanglement or like superposition. These are, bits of the things that create an electron, right? It's all very weird, and the physics in quantum mechanics does not work the same way as relativistic physics. It's not the same. And that was the thing that Einstein, was never able to solve before he died. That's why general relativity was never like a full thing. That's how we got into string theory. That's how we got into all these other explanations for what the universe is made of at the smallest scale. Yeah, Three Body is incredible. Very, very good. Highly recommend.
Have you read The Expanse, Sushi? That one's right up there with it for me.
Why is everyone mean to cats? I mean, honestly, Mocap, I don't know. I also think it's really weird that people justify liking cats or being nice to cats as like toxoplasmosis parasite infection. I'm like, dude, they're fucking adorable. What do you mean? They just look
also
really
just been
cute.
Like domestic pets for like 1,000 years or something. Like they're the first domestic pets because they took care of pests, so people kept them around.
I guess technically they're not even domesticated. They just kind of like they're still wild.
They domesticated themselves, kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
But like they also are, they take care of themselves really well, and they breed almost like rabbits, kind of. And unfortunately, I think they were a prevalent and easy to acquire test subject at the time. So.
Yo, what's up, Queen Anne? Yeah, the thing that always breaks my brain with quantum mechanics is that because the majority of it is not observable, it's all math, and that like makes me freak the fuck out. I'm like, how do you do all this with math? Like that's the piece that I can't fully understand. I can get the abstract, I understand the concept of that, like, Schrodinger's cat and superposition. We're talking about something very, very, very infinitesimal. But when I go like, it doesn't follow the same thing, the same scientific method, because you can't observe this shit, and there's an observer paradox. It's all done with math, and it was like quantum mechanics goes back to like the fucking 20s and shit. Like it's stuff that has been around for a very long time that we're still like struggling to understand. So it's because math is like, people look at it and they go, well, the math says that this should do this, and it's like, what the fuck? How do you even like? That's the thing I don't understand.
Hey, for science, real quick, will you just mute your mic for like 10 seconds?
Yeah.
So is that my mic? If I'm all right, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. How you doing, Queen Anne? How's Endless You? Oh, wait. Oh, honestly, the same. I can't blame the cat. Yeah, I like
for real, because he said the cat bit his girlfriend's ass.
I mean, the cat probably is, that's how it works. Sometimes you just got to bite an ass, especially when it's an ass of someone who's like interfering with your way of the world, and you're a cat.
Just looking juicy. You got to bite it.
Been waking up earlier these days. That's good. Yeah, my sleep has been fucked, Queen Anne. So I went to bed earlier, woke up, at a reasonable hour today. It was nice. Somewhere around.
I'm not gonna lie, me and Omnidynamic / Greg, who works with us, have been deep in AI mania and getting a lot of cool shit developed, though. So I'm sure I'll be showing that to all of you guys here eventually when it's ready. But
hell yeah,
Queen Anne. Like the first time I've been like kind of stoked about programming in quite a while. So.
No, that's awesome, Tony. Yeah. Queen Anne, when you're ready to share again or you want to talk about it, I'm happy to, talk to you about it. So just
100%.
let me know. Sushi said just the first one, small chunk at a time right now.
It took me a good, I don't know, 2 or 3 years probably to get through the entire series. I read like the first 4 or 5 in like kind of one big chunk, and then the 5th one, in my opinion, just a little slower. And then I also didn't really enjoy like the end of the original 6, which is where they ended the TV show, and just like I'm tired of the plot by the end of it. But the last 3, like some of the best books I've ever read. So fucking good, and all the novellas are really good, and it is very much worth going through. I don't know if you watched the TV show yet, but the TV show definitely does it justice. If you haven't, wait until after you read the books. But yeah,
yeah, no worries, Queen Anne. Take your time. When you're ready,
Okay, yeah. And the show did a good job. I think you can. I've told people you could theoretically probably start reading the books after the 6th one, and you would completely understand what was going on because the show did the books good justice.
Yeah, the show's really, really good. So are the books. I kept hearing the same thing as what you're saying. Yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, we've been espousing The Expanse for a while.
I finally talked
it's
him
some of
into
the best
reading it, and he
sci-fi.
crushed the entire series out in like 2 weeks or something. Like,
Yeah, no, it was probably like 3 months, 4 months, something
you
like
like
that.
read it front to back without stopping, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like every day I was reading more of it. It was really good though. I liked it a lot.
Are amazing.
Very interesting concepts. Not as hard sci-fi as 3 Body, but definitely still really compelling and really interesting. I mean, like it still touched on like social stuff like 3 Body does, which I thought was really interesting. Like in what is it? Universal basic income exists on Earth, but because of that, jobs are incredibly scarce. So even if you're on UBI, you're like destitute. You're essentially
like
homeless.
everything is taken care of, but you have nothing else. Yeah.
Yep. And you're like living in slums and poverty, and it's really bad. And like your only goal is to like win the lottery to get a job, and then you can live a better life because you have a better paying job. Like the entry level job was like real fucking good.
Everyone they showed the people like living on the streets because they don't want to be in the system because it comes with like I want to say you get like health checks and maybe like a mandatory sterilization and stuff like that because they have like a huge population control problem because there's like 10 billion people on the planet, 30 billion people on the planet, maybe something like that.
That's specific to Earth too.
Yeah. And so there's people that choose to kind of like stay off the grid, I guess, but they don't get UBI, they don't get healthcare, they don't get any of that. And they effectively live on the street, but it's by choice because they don't want to be subjected to all of that stuff. So yeah. And then like the Belters are treated like second-class citizens and kind of treated like they're not allowed to go anywhere except the belts, and Earth and Mars hate each other. And
Mars doesn't have UBI because they don't have a population problem. They need more people because they're populating Mars. So they don't have
to work if you live on Mars. I think I don't know what they do if you don't work, but like
I don't
talk about it like nobody would
there.
Not work. Like it's just in their like DNA that they work. So yeah.
Same with the belt. There's always jobs in the belt. There's stuff to do. So
you die if you stop working in the belt. That's what they always say too.
So I thought that was really interesting because like on the frontier, the belt and Mars, that's where like there's a bunch of jobs, and people living in the belt are not well off. Like it was very difficult, hard scrabble life. People living on Mars, were like militant, and everyone's like a part of like, this drive.
Terraforming Mars.
Yeah.
That's all they care about.
Yep. And competing with Earth because they became like opposing forces.
Not even competing, but like making sure that Earth has no control over them at any time, basically. And like they're willing to like effectively like destroy Earth to maintain their autonomy. And which is insane because I think Mars wouldn't make it without Earth in that scenario. But
I think that was they sort of touch on it in the books. I don't think they ever did on the show. But there was a time where there was like Mars was dependent on Earth, and then Mars was becoming overbearing and like demanding things from, Earth was becoming overbearing and demanding things from Mars. And the Martians were like, fuck this, and started their own militia. And, it was almost like the founding of the United States, right?
Yep.
Like, and then they were just like, we're Martians, we're free, we're going to be
you don't control
Mars first.
Yep.
Yeah. And so then they started to build a military to like stop the oppression from Earth, and they became in conflict. So, and the belt was always
their entire society was focused on a singular goal. Their military and technology ended up surpassing Earth by a lot because Earth was full of a bunch of effectively lazy people who didn't need to work anymore.
bureaucrats and shit.
And bureaucrats and stupid shit. It's kind of like 40K again because everything is inspired by 40K. But yeah, and because of that, like at the point where the Expanse story happens, Mars has this ring of effectively guns that are in orbit around Earth that are pointed at all of the major cities at all times, and the idea is just mutually assured destruction. If Earth ever fucks with them, they just nuke the entire planet. And yeah, there's a scenario in the book where one of them goes off, and I don't know, it's crazy.
Yeah, Sushi, I don't think Mars was communist. I think it was like a nationalistic
Texans.
Yeah, it was like
away from Earth.
And it was like a nationalistic thing. So they were rooted in like libertarianism.
It's like Asian Texans, and that's why Alex is like kind of
he has a drawl,
has like a really thick drawl, and that's in the lore is like a bunch of Asian immigrants from Texas were some of the first people to ever go to Mars and colonize it, and their descendants, like that's kind of become the Mars dialect, is like a Texas accent a little bit. Just kind of funny.
Get off my land type shit. Yeah, that was it. And it was more that everyone was aligned culturally. They had this like, it was very, authoritarian and military driven, populist, like all of that. Yeah. They were like Mars pride, Mars first, get the fuck off my land. Like that was Mars. And Earth was more like, everyone belongs to us. We are one big happy Earth family. And the Belt and Mars are like, fuck off, you're not. Like we're not held to your standards. And so that's how they're all in conflict.
And it definitely is collectivism over individualism until the events of the book, I guess. Like you've seen the show, so I'm not spoiling anything for you, but like the entire plot is just that like everybody's abandoning Mars because they don't believe in the vision anymore, and they see better opportunity in other places. And that original vision, like that Bobby talks about just being disgusted by the way everybody's acting, because Bobby is like a true Martian, and but even she's jaded by the whole authority system and stuff like that, so she kind of abandons it too. And I don't know, it's very interesting. I definitely see your take though, because I think it way more collective than probably any other group in the story, except for the captains, but
I think it's like a shared cultural vision instead of communism where the state is the most important thing. That wasn't like, I want to say that was kind of the decay of Mars in the Expanse, was when they were coming to a point where like the state was becoming more important. That's exactly what Tony was talking about with Bobby, where it was about like libertarianism and freedom and like, not having people tell you how to live or being oppressed by a foreign government, that type of a thing. But people were like cashing out and exploiting stuff and like corrupt,
stealing like large chunks of their military to go and populate new places and not telling anybody. And whole thing is like kind of coordinated to just leave the people who weren't involved behind and with nothing.
I was Googling it to make sure I wasn't saying the wrong thing. But was Mars communist in the Expanse was coming up with like a bunch of just highly authoritarian, military driven, not imperial, but populism. So like keep Mars.
They think they're like the Spartans, basically. Like that's how they try to run their society. Yeah.
I would say, if anything, the Belt is probably communist. Everyone's looking out for each other, doing stuff to support society because they have to.
And there's a ton of corruption and people who are only looking out for themselves. And no, 100%.
So that was the impression I got, was that like Mars is the military, authoritarian state. Earth is like, bureaucracy, large scale government. And then the Belt was like a free commune, if that makes sense. I think that also happened in Diamanda Age, but I'm still working on that.
I meant to ask you, what is that?
Yeah, I don't know anything about that, mocap.
And Sushi, I don't think you're too far off. And again, the show does a good enough job of, I think, communicating the important stuff like that like you'll get a deeper insight into it in the books. But like I don't think your take is maybe going to change all that much, because I think you're understanding it.
I think in the show they tried to make it seem communist because they were trying to be like, this is like Soviet Russia, you know, as it was collapsing. I think they were trying to do that in the show because it's easier for people to understand. The Expanse in the books is like really fucking deep with a lot of the like political intrigue that's going on. So far, I think it's post-scarcity society. Oh, Diamond Ages. I gotcha. Diamond Ages by the author of Snow Crash. So Neil Stevenson, still cyberpunk. Yeah, I mean, my biggest issue with Stevenson was the writing style for Snow Crash.
Are all his books like that, or is it just that one?
Some sections are written that way. Interesting.
It's not even the tongue-in-cheek. It's like Snow Crash is like what, second person or something like that?
It's
like,
first person something. Yeah, it's all told from the perspective.
It's a really weird perspective that made it like really hard to just understand what was going on for me. And I don't know, like Vince's wife was like, you should read this book. It's about VR. You would really like it. And she let me borrow her copy of it. And I like really tried. And it was just like, man, I don't know.
Oh, no. Okay. So Google AI is saying third person limited. I don't think that's correct. I think it's first person something. And I don't remember.
I remember you saying it and me kind of agreeing with whatever you had said before. First person narrator or something like that. But yeah, regardless. Yeah. I don't know. A lot of people have recommended that book. I'm sometimes a little sad that I just like could not get through it.
AI keeps saying it's written in third person perspective, which I don't think is correct at all. Because most things are written third person omniscient, where you understand everything all the time and there's a narrator, you know, delivering everything through diegesis. Like that's common.
It's like, yeah, it's like
weird thing with Snow Crash
from his perspective, but not first person, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Interesting. I think it's present tense with the occasional slip in it. Yeah. It just like was a weird read. Regardless of the technical reasons, like I just remember like it feeling like kind of difficult to just read a book, which is a strange feeling. But
yeah, actually, now that I think about it, I think it does qualify as third person because it would talk about, but it was always third person from hero protagonist perspective. It was not from anyone else's perspective. So it wouldn't be like third person talking about what someone else thought. It was always like what hero perceived. And also that's the name of the main character is Hiro, like the Japanese, given name hero. And then his last name was protagonist. So as you read it, it's hero protagonist. And I'm like, that's sloppy writing. Give him a real name.
Nickname though.
What's that?
It was like his chosen nickname, right?
I think it's a loose justification,
which is like
for the author
the in itself that you would choose that as your nickname if you did. But like, yeah, I don't know. Also, the name of the main character in Daikatana, which is equally as cheesy.
Yep, he was definitely taking the piss, mocap. No, I'm with you on that. I think that's. I like reading different styles of writing, but we recommended Tony read it because of some of the concepts, and I was like. Now read Otherland by Tad Williams because it deals a lot in like VR and the internet and, the future of technology and interconnectedness through information exchange. So I think a lot of those points are lost because of the writing style in Snow Crash, whereas like Tad Williams does a more traditional like third person omniscient where like what all the characters are thinking all the time and the important pieces of the narrative are delivered in that way. It's much easier for people to just understand. But the Snow Crash is weird.
Mocap, have you read Otherland? You of all people probably should if you haven't, but
yeah, actually.
Like I was thinking about Otherland a lot yesterday. So the thing they talk about with the sub vocalization that they can do where they can like I don't know. I've been talking to Greg a lot about how like I'm kind of at a point where like I could see a scenario where I want to be able to like not have to be at my computer to like keep my AI going and like at a point like being able to talk to it would be convenient because then I could like be doing the dishes or whatever. And I started thinking about that Otherland thing. I'm like, I don't even understand what sub vocalization would be in the case that they're talking about it, but it's like that would be handy to be able to like talk to something in public without people being able to hear you. I don't know. It's a really interesting concept.
I always read it as the intent to speak something, so like thoughts, because sub vocals would work with a neural cannula, but they wouldn't work with like squeezers.
Yeah.
So you had to have a neural implant first, and then your thoughts would like move towards something so that you could control things with your brain instead of like saying do this, or like physically moving things with your digits. So like no tactile controls and stuff.
Otherland just kind of talks about a society where VR is like an iPhone is today. Like everybody has one. It's the main way that most people interact with the internet and stuff. And it's really cool. It's very well thought out. There's a lot of AI as well. Like people have like personal AI assistants and neural implants that allow them to communicate with them subvocally, or go into VR with like a jack into their nervous system. And I don't know. It's really cool, really well thought out. It'll blow your mind because it's like from the 90s, and a lot of the stuff that they touch on is like pretty accurate today, in my opinion. And also super well written. Like no complaints about the writing whatsoever. Very easy to read. It's like 10,000 pages for the whole series or something, but it's really good.
I'm looking up publication date for Otherland, City of Golden Shadow. 1998 was when the first book came out. And the way Tad Williams just like imagined technology in the internet was, prophetic. He understood where it was all going.
There's like this line in like one of the first chapters where he says the character was tired of wearing their headset, so they just put it up on their wall display instead and sat down on the couch. And I was like, man, figured that out before we even had headsets. Like they got future headsets that allow them to like be in the fucking metaverse, and they still are like, nah, I'd rather watch the screen.
They also had different input devices. Like you could be in they call it a V tank, which had this like almost like ferrofluid gel that you would be fully immersed in. You had to wear a gas mask or like a breather mask, but you're like in this, and the gel would like react to virtual stimulus, so you could
like electricity
hold something
hard or soft. And
yeah,
I don't know, it's cool shit.
But there were also, like Tony was saying, the highest technology was, and very expensive, was they called it a neurocannula, and it was a like brainstem implant, a wireless device that you could just like close your eyes and like subvocalize, log into the internet, and like just be online playing video games or whatever in your head, which is cool.
They got setups with catheters and feeding tubes, so you don't have to leave VR. Like, I don't know. It's a very cool story. It's good. It's really good.
So if any of y'all have read or are familiar with Ready Player One, Ready Player One is absolutely just stealing a bunch of shit from Otherland and Snow Crash, like 100%. None of it is original. It's all a nostalgia trip and very derivative of all those things. I thought it was fine.
The book is way better than the movie.
Yeah,
I will say that. The movie was not that good.
No.
Yeah.
I would almost say Ready Player One is a lot like the pulp nature of Old Man's War. I was
going to call it like the Harry Potter of VR fiction, but
yeah. No, I think that's fair.
It's like, kind of aimed at like young adults and very.
Yeah, but it's all the nostalgia shit's for millennials. Like everything he talks about is like for
kind of Gen X, dude. Like that, a lot of that stuff misses me. I don't give a shit about Pac-Man and like.
Yeah, that's true.
Games and stuff.
And Voltron and shit.
And like you can tell it's kind of like an old guy's perspective on like why Halo is cool and stuff. Like, I don't know. Just doesn't totally hit for me.
You guys don't have VR catheters already? Bro, self-administered catheters, like not in my life goals ever.
Big time. Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't ever want to be in that situation. I mean, I don't know what your life is like, Mocap. Are you like, you good on that now? You've done all the necessary work to make sure you can freely and easily cath?
I appreciate how hardcore Mocap is about VR, but he's cathetering. So
yeah, hell yeah, dude. Got to stay in that VR chat.
Did you get your big screen Beyond yet?
Ooh, yeah, I want to know that.
I saw something about one the other day, made me think of you. I wanted to ask you about
it. Sushi said that'd be half the fun. Either you're in or you're out. Oh, got the big screen. Nice. Ooh, hell yeah. What's the review?
Yeah, give us the review, because to me, it definitely looks awesome, but I don't know. it's a lot of money, and I worry that that entire ecosystem isn't going to be supported for too much longer with the Steam frame coming out.
Oh shit! I would say
That's
not worth it.
The eye tracking is not worth it, or just like the package itself. That's headset you had, but not by much. What's the second best then?
I think he's saying it's the best, but it's just too expensive for how incremental of a experiential change it is. Is that what you're saying, Mocap? Like it's cool, but it's like just
best Quest 2? 3. Okay, I was like,
yeah, I was gonna say Quest 3 is really good, dude. Like really good. I'm shocked by how good the Quest 3 is.
PSVR 2? Okay, nice. I've been wanting to try the PSVR 2 out. That's interesting to me.
I have a PSVR 1, and because of that, I don't want to get a PSVR 2. It's very expensive to get into. And Quest 3 is just...
Well, you can use the PSVR 2 with a computer now.
Yeah, but I don't... You know, it's a lot.
No, I feel you for sure. It's a little less of a... You don't have to buy into the whole ecosystem at least, but yeah.
Yeah, Quest 3 is great. And in case you're wondering, the reason the Quest 3 is so cheap is because you have to have meta connection. So they're selling your data 100%. They're losing money on the device because they're selling your data. So that's the value proposition. Just be aware.
And it does have like Quest 3 is eye tracking and like foveated rendering on the PSVR 2, right? Because that's kind of the big reason that I think it looks cool. Yeah, it's like having the Eye of Sauron in my house. Yes.
The trick is you just let the battery die and then charge it when you're going to use it.
Every time I want to use it, I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, you're like, well, here you go, Zuck. Enjoy.
I have like, because they have a charging cradle thing because it has like pogo pins on the bottom, so you can like set it in a thing and it'll charge. And I thought, you know, if I had that, it would stay charged. But no eye tracking on PSVR 2 when connected to PC. Oh man, that sucks. Dynamic foveated, yeah, for sure. I thought you could do it on the PSVR. That was like one of the big reasons that I was kind of interested in it.
Mocap, have you fucked around with Apple Vision Pro? I understand it's wildly expensive for what you're getting. We have one because my wife is very, very, very into Apple products, but also it's what we do for a living. You know, it's like what Tony and I do for a living. So it was
last time. What have you put that on?
Aaron watches the immersive videos often, and they come out like they usually have like a monthly release. There's like a pretty good cadence for that. But to be fair, the immersive video is really the only reason you would get you know, Apple Vision Pro, or for the integrated workspace stuff if you really wanted to.
I was gonna say I would probably get rid of my computer monitors if I had one, to be honest. Like, I know everybody says it's heavy and uncomfortable. I didn't think it was. I've spent a lot more time than the average person in my index, and it doesn't bother me as much as it seems like it bothers other people. So I kind of feel like I could do it. And when the Steam frame comes out, it big time my attention. I'm telling you right now. So we'll see.
Yeah, I watched Avatar: Way of Water when I was fucking sick in the Apple Vision Pro. That's like a 3.5 hour movie or some crazy shit like that. I was totally fine. The reason is because I watched it in bed. And with the head strap it comes with, that soft cloth back on it, you can use a pillow. There's no other VR headset that I've used that you can watch, you know, a 4K movie fully laying down without like discomfort. And the Apple Vision Pro was great for that. But if I'm doing anything physical, jumping around or whatever, yeah, absolutely too heavy. It's going to fly off my head. It's very expensive. I would be worried about like breakage and stuff like that. I know that for the next Formula One season, we're very excited to try out the F1 app and like all the stuff that they're doing with Apple Vision Pro. So that'll be really cool. At least I'll be able to talk to you guys about that when the season starts. Yeah, and I mean, I guess like the lack of aftermarket head straps and stuff is probably an issue. I was running into issues with the basic head strap for the Quest 3 because of the plastic adjusters on the back. They were like digging into my head. And so Tony got me a Bobo VR head strap that is way better. There you go. Yeah, that thing is really good. I don't like how it adjusts the pivot to like the face, you know, closeness or whatever. Mine, if I like bend over, it'll like tilt away from my head a little bit, and then I have to like push it back on.
You can definitely kind of do this with it though, which is hard to do with
Yeah.
the normal head strap and stuff. And so like I don't have the shroud on it right now either, which is kind of how I use it when I'm just trying to use my computer screen and stuff, because you get to keep your peripheral vision. But I can kind of just do this and then go in and then come out. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah.
If you're doing any VR dev and you're doing it on a Quest, you need to get a Bobo.
And it also has these, and I think if you had like 2 or 3 of these and you kept them on a rotating charger, you could literally run your Quest 3 forever without it ever dying.
Yep. I think you only need 2, man, to be honest. I don't even think you need 3.
They might like start going bad and you'd have to get a third one because it might not last, but like, or depending on how hard you're pushing it, like if you're gaming, it dies a lot faster than when you're doing other shit. But like, this is a very, very cool solution. And I really hope something like this ends up coming out with like the Steam frame and stuff, because cool if they just made this work with the Steam frame.
I basically got like an extra hour of, full playtime with that battery. Adding the battery gave me like a full hour, which is crazy to think about. Because it was already
you generally
like
do is
an
you
hour.
can start with the battery in, and then when the battery dies, it'll click over to the headset battery, and then you probably have another hour or 2. Plug the battery in while that's happening. By the time the headset's dying, you just put the hotspot battery back in. You're good.
Okay, so we got through those.
Bob is great, indeed.
Bob is definitely great. Let's see. Oh, okay. So my worry with I know this is like a hard pivot back to Resident Evil movie, but I just remembered and I fucked up like linking this topic to myself. But my worry is like the God of War show. The director for that was like very proudly saying, I'm totally unfamiliar with the series. I'm not a gamer. I can't play modern games because I can't make a gamepad work for me. Like my thumbs are bad at it. And like dude was wearing that as like a badge of pride. I'm concerned that we're going to see the same shit with the Resident Evil movie remakes. So I don't know, man. I'm making my girlfriend play every Resident Evil game before 9 comes out. Yeah. How's that going?
RE5 the other day. Big nostalgia.
Yeah, you were telling us about that a couple weeks ago. How's that going now that it's been some time? What are her thoughts on Resident Evil, and which one is she on?
And are you doing remakes or OGs? Because almost all of them now have at least 2 versions. The first few have like 5 versions, but on 2 right now. We did 1 in 1 sitting. You're probably doing the remakes, I would imagine. They're fairly well-made games, but he says missed but with guns and good. Yeah. Well, you get to RE4 at least, but
yeah. Miss but
I want to hear the RE4 review when you get there. That'll be interesting. Especially because the remake is fucking intense. Like I'm pretty good at the old one, but
what was 3 and why do I not hear a lot of people talk about 3?
3 is
2 was with Nemesis.
Nemesis is 3, I think, and 2 is Code Veronica, or maybe the other way around, or maybe Code Veronica is like in between 3 and 4.
I thought Nemesis was in 2.
The first one is the first one the big scary walking dude with a hat, or is that 2? It might be 2.
I thought the first one was like the liquor was like the main antagonist.
Code Veronica in between 3 and 4. Okay, yep.
And I thought 3 was Wesker related. That's when you started getting like teleporting Wesker and shit.
I think 3 is Nemesis. Big scary dude with hat is 2. Yeah, so the first one is just like OG Resident Evil, the like Raccoon City situation and all of that with Leon and Chris. And then the second one is the Hat Man. And the third one is Nemesis. And then there's Code Veronica in between there, and then 4 happened.
And then Meteor happens.
Reporting Wesker is Code Veronica, and then Wesker kind of shows up again in. Does he show up in 4 and maybe it's 5? Yeah.
I want her to play that game. The scary Hat Man? I don't remember this guy at all.
Yeah, I didn't really know about Scary Hat Man until the remakes, because I didn't really play the like old versions of the games, but.
Yeah, it wasn't 2 the same, like, or very similar story to 1, but you're playing as a STARS member instead? You're Chris, right? Or are you Jill?
1 is Chris and what's her face, and 2 is Leon? Or I might be backwards on that, but yeah.
One's Jill, right?
Claire? Jill Valentine and Claire Redfield. It's one of those two. I know we sound like the worst Resident Evil fans in the world right now.
I'm not really a big Resident Evil fan. I won't.
Two is Leon, 1 and 3 are Jill. Yeah, and one is one the one where you can play as Jill and Chris, and there's like two different versions of the same story, or is that 3? Or maybe that's 2.
He says 2 is Leon. For 2, they hired a Hollywood screenwriter. Oh, okay. So that's why 2 is wacky. All right.
My Resident Evil expertise is primarily 3 and 4, I will say.
Mine is GameCube remake of Resident Evil.
Okay. Yep.
That's it. And then I think I played 4. 4's Chris in Africa, right?
No, it's 5.
I played 5 then. I didn't play 4. 4 is Spain.
Yes, Leon in Spain. Yep. There's a mod so you can play it in VR. Yeah, I need to try that, especially with my new computer. Probably run it a little better. But I need to try that for sure. RE4, I think, is probably the game that I have purchased the most times in my life because it's come out on like GameCube, PS2, PS3, PC in 5 different versions, PS4. Probably was on Xbox. Like, I don't know. He's Queen Anne.
So I'm looking at game news right now. One of the top articles that just came out on VGC is a quote from the DayZ creator saying, "Let us normalize delaying games. Players have the power to tell platforms that delays are okay." That's crazy as fuck.
Why is the DayZ creator saying this?
I know. The thing that's crazy about this is the OG for like delaying games and justifying it. Yeah, take it easy, Queen Anne. Thanks for hanging out. The OG was Blizzard being like, the game's ready when it's ready. And they weren't held to a platform. They were held to players.
Wasn't it
so,
a delayed game can eventually be good, but a bad game.
That's just like his quote in support of delaying a game when it wasn't ready.
Don't crash.
But yeah, I think it was Blizzard that was originally, because like everyone was like, when are we getting Warcraft 2? Like, what the fuck? Or like, when are we getting such and such? And they're like, I remember back in the 90s, their famous quote was, "The game's ready when it's ready." Sushi's Helen yeah? What are you Helen yeah about, bro? Support Star Citizen. Yeah, it's ready when it's ready.
Putting VR out. I support Star Citizen now.
$300 million later, or whatever the fuck they made. How much is?
Have you tried that out yet, Mega? Star Citizen VR. Been hearing good things. Definitely want to get into that eventually. Kind of been waiting for them to like say it's good first, though.
Oh boy. Chris Roberts, this is according to AI, Chris Roberts Space Industries has raised over $859 million for Star Citizen. Total funding has reached nearly $900 million as of November 2025. Holy shit. Billion-dollar game, dude.
They're technically indie. Not even a publisher.
Billion-dollar indie game.
Billion-dollar indie. The first 5A game.
Oh shit, mocap has been going to too many raves.
Oh shit, tell me about the raves.
Yeah, let's talk about raves, mocap.
I went and saw Chris Lorenzo a week and a couple of days ago. It was pretty sick.
Yeah, what raves are you going to, bro? Also, my issue with Star Citizen is like, that's so much money for that game. It's crazy. Going to a
Matrix, costs like $20 to buy a copy of Star Citizen for yourself, I'm pretty sure.
But yeah, like, they fixed it, but before it was like
$50,000 and people buy them. Like, yeah, it's crazy. Missed out on the blood rave.
I wouldn't want to go to a blood rave, dude. You get all gross and sticky.
I've been to a Guar concert before. Shoot a blood cannon at you.
Mm-hmm.
Or is there like big DJs playing at these raves, or is it just like more about the theme and going?
Oh shit! Call of Duty Warzone Mobile shuts down in April. Where's SKG to save that game?
Are the Chinese people rioting? Don't they love that shit?
I have no idea. But where's SKG to save COD Mobile? Come on.
I saw SKG is going to Europe, some European parliament or something. Not that that affects us over here in Freedom Land, but
yeah, it definitely does not. We already have legal precedent to be like, shut the fuck up.
Sushi says, I mean, the game has so much money because people keep buying stuff to keep playing it, but it's worth something. It's a buggy mess, but it's gotten better and better. I still enjoy it quite a bit, but I'm not spending any more money on it. Yeah, I really think it sounds like a cool idea. It's like what No Man's Sky says it is, but like not lame if they actually put it all together. And I don't know. I would love like a really good hardcore space sim to play in VR specifically, because the only one that we have right now is Elite Dangerous, and it's like barely supported and like 15 years old. So, I think they could really do well for themselves if they just like focus on some specific stuff like that and just put the game together.
I think they are doing well for themselves, Tony.
I mean,
$1 billion.
Very fair. That is very, very fair. It's
There's
crazy.
no
It's
shot
like
they
a game
can
that like
cross
nobody
that.
actually plays and everybody's heard of, and they like have made more money than EA. Like,
Store Citizen. Mocap said sticky and gross sounds like 90% of the raves I go to. Yeah, I mean, I feel you, bro. You're gonna get
not a
sticky
good rave
and
if
gross
it's
no
not
matter
sticky
what.
and gross, man.
Yeah, but I also just don't want to get sprayed with a fluid that will make me all like more sticky and gross in a different way. I mean, we went
Your feeling about fluids in general, though, to be fair.
We went to John Summit and it fucking rained like for
Yes,
the majority of the show, and that was pretty rough, but that was a good time. I liked it.
I want to go to a Brightside rave personally.
Yes, me too. I would go to that, and you know how much I don't go to shows.
I would make you go to that.
No, I would go to that. I'm already committed. I would go.
Yep.
I would 100% go to a Brightside show. Mocap does not fear the fluid. I mean, yeah. Boom rave when? Could Boom do a rave?
I've been saying Boom rave for a long time, and Boom's just got too much ADHD and got to focus on whatever.
Yeah, it was the first scene of Blade, Brightside. Bloodbath, and then the sprinklers come on and spray blood all over the vampires, and Blade starts killing them. LFQ says they should probably just cut off the funding and save up for something new. Seems like never-ending story if they keep putting the money into a single game. I mean, that's who knows what they're doing with that money, man. But $1 billion is so
they would call what they're trying to make these days a metaverse. Like, that's not what it was, the term for it, at least when they started. But like, they're really trying to make this like massive scale thing. It's like it's like an MMO, but more. It's like Second Life with spaceships and like a real simulated persistent universe, and you can fly from space down to the planets, and like all the promises of all the big games all meshed together, and people keep paying them, so they keep making it.
The crazy thing is understanding how much $900 million actually is. It's very hard for people to know how much that actually is. It is an absurd amount of money. Like $100 million to build a game is also an absurd amount of money.
Let's just do like some napkin math here. So like if we had...
Can you do like a visualizer, Tony, where it's like a stack and you can be like, this is 1 million, and then you're like, this is 900 million? Because like,
I just wanted to look at it like, if you say you have a team, let's pay the team well. Let's pay them $150,000 a year, right? And we got 100 people. So that's $15 million a year. And so if we take $800 million, more zeros, and we divide that by 15 million, they could operate for 53 years with 100 employees getting paid $150,000 a year before they ran out of money. And if they never got another dollar, and I mean, this doesn't factor in taxes and expenses and blah, 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 which is probably a lot, but like
amount of money.
And their team's probably bigger, so this is probably reduced by some factor, but like,
and also not everyone's getting paid $150K a year, bro.
We need to go back to completely independent. They do not have a publisher. They probably have investors and stuff, but like, they're not owned by some corporation. It is Robert Space Industries. All it has been. They own all of it. It's the same as like Valve owning all of Steam and stuff. Like, it's really big for them. They get to keep 100% of the profits, full control over the company. Like, honestly, probably operating better than any company in the gaming industry, as weird as it is. And I've never thought that before until right now. But like,
It's an absurd amount of money.
Wild.
Like, it's really hard to fully understand how
Okay,
much
1,000 people there is what Sushi says. So like divide my number by 10. That still means that they could operate for almost 6 years. And like they don't have $800 million in the bank. They've been spending it, but like I'm sure they're in very good shape. And there's more coming in all the time, and they're putting out some big releases lately that I think will bring in new investment. And they have a really interesting model where if they can create this weird like space Second Life, like think about the microtransaction possibilities of something like that. Like it literally is never ending. You got player cosmetics and ships, and got to be player housing in there somewhere. If they got a whole galaxy, like so many things they could sell you. And
they're making 2 games. One of them has a plethora of celebrity actors for performances. I mean, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, so there's 2 games in Star Citizen. This one is weird to me. This is like some Tarkov UI type shit where there's like this thing called, remind me what it's called, Sushi. It's like Rogue something, and it has like Mark Hamill and all of these like super famous people in it. Squadron 42. There we go. I was thinking Rogue Squadron. Because of Mark Hamill, probably. But yeah, so it's like a weird, like, is it like a story-based first-person shooter that's set in Star Citizen, but is like separate from the main game or something like that? And Squadron 42 has also been in development for 10 years or something like that, and maybe is like getting close. I loosely follow this, and I haven't really dove into Star Citizen in a while, but
it's a single-player game. That's crazy.
And it looks incredible. I will say that every time I see it, like they have like some, visual tech that is top notch. Like their facial scans and captures and all of that. It looks really good, but it's just like, I don't know, looked like fancy tech demos for 5 years.
They say it's over 40 hours in length. It's playable end to end, still targeting a 2026 release date. It's a single-player game, narrative experience with celebrity voice actors.
When I tried Star Citizen out, I'm going to guess it was probably 2017 the last time, and Squadron 42 was in like early multiplayer beta or something. And yeah, we're 10 years out. Not done yet.
Holy shit. Gillian Anderson, Henry Cavill, Gary Oldman, Mark Strong, Mark Hamill.
Insane, dude. Absolutely. Yes.
As for Star Citizen itself, Roberts described 2025 as the year of playability. 2025 was the year when you could play Star Citizen.
I remember these models looking really impressive in 2016, and now they look not very impressive for 2026. Yeah. Some of them look okay. Like I'd say Mark Strong looks pretty good. Liam Cunningham looks okay. Henry Cavill looks like a PS2 character. Same with these guys. Gary Oldman's like PS4 character, but could be better. I don't know about Mark Hamill. It looks all right, I guess.
But this shit's funny.
Oh, Sushi, the entire thing with this cast is going to be a movie that you walk through. They wouldn't be able to do anything else with it. Like it would be a waste of money to have all these people in it otherwise. So it's going to be super hand-holdy. Look at this thing. Let's go over here. You're hanging out with these people and shooting guns in space or something. I don't know how else they could do it.
I don't.
Let's see.
Not that anyone necessarily cares about this, but apparently Avowed is now on PS5 with an anniversary update, including.
Dude, I actually kind of care because for whatever reason that game kind of looks fun to me lately. I don't know why.
You should play it, dude.
I feel like I know he's not here for some reason today. He must be sleeping, but I think Turning Cog is really into that game and has played it a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just repeating the internet hate machine narrative of like Avowed is a bad game, right? Is that what I'm doing?
No, I tried it out when it came out, and I think we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. I just had like a really strong sense of it being exactly the same as every other survival crafting game ever made, and I got really bored with it really fast because we had just come off of playing like Hell World and me checking out Ark, and like it was the same menus, the same loop. Once Human was also pretty similar, I think. So
I thought this was like
but
I thought this was like an RPG, like Dragon Age or something like that.
I might be mixing up two games in my brain right now, but I think what I'm talking about. It's like an open world survival crafting game with wands, or is that something different? Maybe
No, that's
that's
something different. This is with like people were calling this Concord as well because it had.
is this the one where
similar
the girl's like,
character art.
did I just shoot freaking lasers out of my fingers or something? Oh yeah, God, no way.
I don't think that was you're talking about the Squeenix one with like the magic bracelets that she had, and there was like
we're getting distracted. Sushi says this is real time graphics.
Okay,
it's fucking crazy. This is real time graphics,
and this is Squadron 42.
Yeah,
I mean, this looks sick.
I mean,
dude.
when I look at Star Citizen, like Star Citizen looks fucking incredible. So like, I don't doubt it. They have to have rewritten their engine 4 times making this game, though, with all the advances in technology over the years. And I know they've talked about it at least a couple of times that they have rebuilt their engine. So
they probably also wrote some special technology that makes it look good. That's the trick. Like I've tried to tell you guys before, you know, you can only get so far with UE5. If you want to do bleeding edge, cutting edge shit, you got to roll your own. You have to hire the best people who know how to make all the coolest stuff. Very expensive.
At that point, like if you care that much, like you have control of every bit in your memory and what's happening with it and stuff. And you can get to that level with UE5, but like I don't know if you're gonna go that deep, you probably should just roll your own engine.
Yep.
Especially these days with AI. Like I hate to sound like that guy, but it can't be that hard. Like their little like wrist computer thing. This is really cool.
Especially if it's a diegetic UI and you're in first person and you can be like, whoop, and then it's
I want to use that in VR and have it work. Like that would be dope.
Well, you wouldn't want to hold your fucking arm up like that, though.
True.
Like that would get.
And I mean, like that's the case. Even if this were a real thing, like I would feel that way. Yeah.
Oh, Sushi says it is a diegetic UI. All right, cool.
Okay.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Sushi. Side note: do you have a VR headset?
That's a good question.
I don't know if we've ever asked you that. I know Cog told me he does not. Or I think you did tell us that original Oculus. Okay, like Oculus Rift, or like a Rift S, or once the Steam frame comes out, I'm selling CS skins to get one. Amazing. All right, well, we'll have to play some walkabout mini golf and some stuff together sometime.
Yes, dude. Yes,
always a really good time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Sushi, you should also like seriously consider getting a Quest 3. It's really fucking good.
I'm just gonna wait for the Steam frame. Like at this point, it should only be a few months, but we'll see.
I mean, Quest 3 is fucking amazing though. And
Mocap, we got to play some walkabout together sometime. I don't know why we haven't to this day, but
yeah, Walkabout's very good.
Love that game, so good.
I don't have money in the Steam frame.
Man, you got the CS skins, huh?
I mean, that's not free, brother, but I know what you mean. Are you trying to sell some jade knives or what? He's like, I wish I had a jade knife. That thing's worth like 60K.
Dude, I saw Northern Lion was playing Counter-Strike.
Yeah, he played Counter-Strike for a while.
Weird.
I saw a clip. So Summit, you know, obviously still plays CS. Like he was a CS pro back in the day. But he had a butterfly knife that was jade. And anytime he pulled it out, everyone in chat would be like, yo, where'd you get that, bro? Where'd you get that? And like people would just make weird comments. And he's like, what the fuck? What is wrong with people? Like, I just pulled my knife out and like people just start freaking the fuck out.
Apparently, this is the knife that Sushi's buying a VR headset with.
Butterfly slaughter, brother. Hell yeah. What's that going for right now?
$1,600.
Let's go, Sushi.
Holy shit, bro.
Yeah, dude, I'm not kidding. The Jade one is literally worth like 50K. Like actually worth like 50K.
Shit. Oh my god. I need to start opening crates just to
No, that's how they get you, Tony. You'll never get any of this shit.
I want to buy a VR headset with a fucking knife.
You're literally better off buying like Powerball tickets when the number goes up.
I mean, I don't know about that. Maybe.
Let me see.
God damn. Okay. Well, that's crazy. I had no idea.
Let's see.
Oh yeah, this one's a suggested price of 1,700 euros. Crazy. I bought a Wi-Fi router to get RE9, so anything is possible. What does buying a Wi-Fi router to get RE9 mean?
Yeah, what do you?
Yeah.
How are you living your life,
You,
mocap?
like, connect to the internet for the first time? Good way to make money on the internet, that's for sure.
Bright side, I think CS skins only go up.
Wait, what?
But I don't know if that's true.
Explain.
I don't think they drop. Because like Valve has pretty fixed numbers on that because they take a cut of every skin sale. So they don't want to like, change the numbers to reduce value of things so that more players can get a thing. They don't want that. So they're probably never going to touch that. Knife skins have actually gone down.
Okay, you get RE9 for free if you buy certain ROG products. Interesting. So did you buy this spider router? Give you a little bit of cancer when you stand by
it? I mean, you need 4 antennas for maximum radiation, dude.
Well, this one has 8, so you get double.
Hell yeah.
Spider router is too scary.
Oh, so they did actually like cause inflation by printing more of the currency, which is a skin, because you can like, yeah, so there's more of the rare skins now. Interesting.
Yeah, so is your $1,600 knife like go down from like $5,000 or something? Because I remember hearing about that. Over $3,000, bro. Holy shit. That's so crazy.
I guess the average price of the Jade Butterfly, according to AI, is like $1,700.
Anybody know what like the most expensive knife is?
Is it gloves that are the most expensive?
One says Karambit hardened blue gem is 1.5 million.
Dollars?
That's what it says.
That's crazy. Is it a sniper? No, bright side. It's fucking knives and gloves. Those are the most rare skins in CS.
It's crazy. It goes from 25K to 1.5 mil. Is the jump on this page at least.
Oh, if you're talking about a sniper with certain stickers, that was probably a skin.
Item. Let's do that.
That was probably a skin for a special event that like a pro had and used during like a tournament. That's my guess. That was the Dragon Lord, is the most expensive for a while, but that was like a decade ago. Yeah. I think with the stickers, it's like from a special event, and that's why it was really rare.
The 1.5 million has to be the money laundering price, probably.
Yeah, LFQ saying that's a pumped price. That's not real. Kenny has Dragon Lore. Yep, that's it.
Okay, so this one's at the top again on this page, and then the second place is Case Hardened AK. Sold publicly for over $1 million on June 5th, 2024. Crazy. It's pretty cool looking, but I don't know.
No individual.
150K.
No individual spent $1 million on a CS skin. That's 100% money laundering. There's no shot.
A great way to launder some money, man.
If you were like a multi-millionaire and you were fucking around in CS and you wanted some bougie skins, I could see dropping like,
this
$10 or $100,000 on a skin, but like spending $1 million on a skin is crazy. Almost all of them are bought with crypto.
I believe that.
Yep. That shit ain't legit. So money laundering. Yeah, totally.
I do appreciate CS skins, just to go on a little tangent here for a second, more than a lot of games, because if you guys don't know how these work, they have these like weird, you guys probably understand how it works better than I do, to be honest, but it's something about like the number is like a combination of properties within the skin, and it's like randomized, right? And so you can get like different variants of the same one. This one's like pattern 387 or something like that, and that's like why it's so. But so like the skins themselves have like a role, and so you can get the same skin that has different variants, and I don't know, and just like the fact that they're skins for like the thing that you use in the game, and it doesn't actually change the game, but like they're cool, and it's like an incentive to have them to like flex on people and stuff. Like it's one of the best implementations of a microtransaction system I think you could possibly do. And
I still think like inarguably the best model was League of Legends. Completely free game.
It's kind of the same thing. It's like they just make you look cool. You can flex. There's like 1,000 fucking variants, so there's always new stuff to be looking at, and they come out with new ones, and they're actually cool. Like I don't know, just a lot of games try to do it, and I don't know. I'm thinking of like Apex and a lot of the like battle royales that have like these like season passes and these stores that are constantly in Fortnite. Just they pump out so much that like 90% of it is kind of crap, and 10% of it is cool. And I like Counter-Strike, I'm sure it has a lot of crap in it too, but I would just say like the overall quality bar is much higher, and the fact that it has all this like variability in it is just a lot more interesting.
The variability you're talking about, Tony, is combat wear. So it's like the condition of the item. So you can get a skin that is like low quality because it's like very worn and it has like scratches and shit on it. So if you get one that's like pristine, it's better.
Patterns and the colors and like how it can have different variations. I don't know. It's like it starts to sound like people looking at rare gems and shit in real life and like, oh, this one has like this imperfection here, and I don't know.
It's that's
really interesting how they managed to do it.
That's what Sushi's talking about. It's like a condition that's lerped given a float value. So you can
make a skin, you have to give it different wares. The wares themselves are lerped given a float value. You can actually play the system when creating the skin to give different variations of colors just on the float value of where. Yeah, I'll see people on Twitter sometimes posting that make skins and kind of talking about the systems and how they do what they do, and I find it extremely interesting. It's usually lower the float, the better, but not always. Sometimes there's a specific float to look for to get certain colors or the like. All right. Yeah, see, this stuff is really interesting to me.
LFQ apparently has a factory new bayonet Doppler.
Bro, wasn't I just looking at that one? Is that this? Right here. Maybe it's not Sapphire, but...
No. Yeah, dude, that is a fucking.
That looks like this knife on my screen right here, dude. Like, what does it say? This one is like 20 grand.
I'm seeing that this is like $2 grand down to 400.
Oh, dude, you're right. You can buy multiple Steam frames.
That's so crazy. It's so crazy. Acid Hex CS skins? The resident gambler has arrived. Yo, Acid Hex, you should pick up Space Warlord Alien Baby Trading Simulator on Steam, because then you can just play day trading and shorting and shit in a video game instead of doing it with real money. I think you'd fuck with it. For real. Space Warlord Alien Baby Trading Simulator. Let me grab you a link to Steam. Oh, it's not even Alien. It's just Baby Trading Simulator. There you go, Acid. Let's gamble, son. I know how you like playing that shit. Dude, you can play margins. You can short. You can fucking leverage like insane amounts.
You can hear Vince say stock market words to you for the first time in your life, and it's fucking crazy. He's like messaging me. He's like, I'm like shorting these babies and like watching the market. I'm like, who are you?
It'd be like, yeah, bro, I went up, I traded at like, I think I started with 200K and went up like 16 million and then lost it all in a fucked short.
Sushi, maybe if you convert it into Steam credit and then buy a Steam frame with it, you could avoid tax entirely, maybe. And then you just have to like sit on it and buy games on Steam with it and never convert it into cash, maybe. I'm talking about the tax implications of selling a CS knife for thousands of dollars.
Oh shit, LFQ is like that bayonet even what like my big money is.
Yep.
LFQ's got the
that's almost black pearl. The play side is completely dark, but the inspec side has a blue. Like, man, you guys are saying shit I don't even understand, but that's cool.
Hell yeah, LFQ. That sounds sick. Thin blue line, black pearl.
Does it have a Punisher skull on it too?
You wish, dude. Yeah, you should put a Punisher sticker on it and sell that shit to some Americans, dude. Yeah, Acid Hex for real. I think that
Yeah, this actually
fucking
is a
that
really
game is up your
sick
alley,
move, dude.
Karambit's such a weird knife in reality.
I agree.
Like you have to train with it. Like you can't use it normally. It requires special training in Kali martial arts. The Karambit's a Filipino knife.
Only thing I think about with knives is when two people get in a knife fight, one dies on the scene and one dies in the ambulance all the way to the hospital or something like that.
That's the point of the Karambit with the loop. Yep. You can't be disarmed. It's much harder to take it from you and get cut with your own knife. And it's only bladed on one side, and it's that inside curl. It's not bladed on the back side of that. I think I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure the spine is not bladed. It's the inside curve that is bladed. A knife with a skill tree.
Well, it looks sharpened to me, but we're also looking at a video game model.
It's because you twirl it around. Is a Karambit sharp?
Karambit is typically sharpened on the inside, which means the outside edge is usually blunt. There you go.
Yeah.
According to an AI that we blindly trust.
I don't think you would want it sharp on the backside, because like you use that like. You know how butterfly knives like twirl around and shit? That's also a Filipino knife called a balisong. It's the same thing as a butterfly knife, but that is all technique based too, and like hand motions and shit. And the Karambit's the same. It's meant when you're in like, you know, a melee, like fist fighting someone, you also have a blade that you can like quickly end the fight with. That's the whole point of it. Very small, highly concealable, you know, very short blade. It's not meant for stabbing. It's meant for slashing. Whereas the balisong you can poke with if you need to. That's probably way too much information about knives that you guys don't care about. Let's see.
Help me with an experiment again. Mute your mic.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the music or something. Okay, thank you.
Oh, is it the waveform in the background was not doing the thing?
Yeah, like it's picking it. It's supposed to be only my audio right now, and so I was trying to figure out if like it's getting your audio too, or if like my bass line is just like loud. Because if I mute, like you'll. If I talk, it's not like getting bigger, so it's maybe the music, maybe you, but trying to figure out.
I was just silent the whole time. Yeah, it looks like that the lower waveform is probably music. Unless you just have like a lot of noise in the line or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, and like there's this thing that like takes in. It's not even supposed to be taking in the music stream. That's like the weird part too, but it should just be both of our streams. And I don't know. Well, you want to keep going? You want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I think we should wrap it up. I don't know. I don't think I have anything else. We covered all the topics. We went over all the things. Dread's still going really well. Sushi's helping us out with some Skybox stuff. Turning Cog is helping us out with in art palette for one of the levels. You know, we've almost got all of the technical issues with the neighborhood fully resolved. Yeah, it's cranking along. We're doing the Dread thing, so yeah, that's why we're telling you guys, you know, just yapping at you. It's not as interesting stuff to look at, to be honest. If you want to see some of the art development, you could definitely check out Turning Cog. But you know, it'll be in Dread soon enough, and then we can just show you guys what it looks like in the game. So I think that'll be better. Omni's been working on some audio for us, doing some ambient soundscape for the forest level. That's kind of the updates for Dread. That's where we're at. I don't think I have anything else for you guys. We don't have any special plans for tomorrow. Just stream as usual. Tony's been working on this, you know, back-end website thing. So we've got a new website up. We've got a bunch of other things going on. So yeah, that's where we're at. I think that's it for me. Tony, are you still there? Tony's got the keys to the castle. So, you know, I guess we're still live until he comes back. I can look at some of this other stuff. Let's see. There's some Castlevania shit from State of Play. Oh, I wanted to say I saw something Highguard related last week, I think one of the devs that got laid off like crashed out on people on Twitter and blamed like gamers for the game not doing well, saying that like they have no taste or something like that, or they don't understand it, whatever. And then deleted his social media account. So that was something that I saw that was interesting out there. Ashes of Creation, we already talked about. Avowed launches Obsidian's PoE Universe RPG. Wait, what? What is fucking PoE Universe? I gotta read this.
Sorry, my eyes were floating.
Oh, you're good, man. Yeah, what the fuck? Why does this article summary say Obsidian's PoE Universe?
The high guard thing that you were talking about, like, dude crashed out, deleted his account, and then the other thing I saw was that the website for the game had gone down, and everybody thought it was over, and then it came back up, and the developers came out and clarified they just had a technical issue, and the game was going to be fine. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm still stuck on PoE Universe. Let's see. Avowed, because I need to know what the PoE is for. Pillars of Eternity. That's it. There we go. So it's set in Pillars of Eternity. I don't know. I kept going like Path of Exile, and I'm like, that's not right. That's grinding gear games.
Power over Ethernet.
Yeah, exactly. Sweet. Well, I think that's it. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Really appreciate you. Acid Hex, check out that game. I think you'll like it. Wait. Brightside was asking, how much did it cost you guys to get your expensive skins? Acid already lost 15,000 or 1,500 babies. So you're not betting the babies. You're betting money on the life of the baby. So if the baby has a good life and you're riding that increase in value of the baby's life, then you're making money because you bought in low. Or you can bet that the baby's having a bad life and you short it. Also, you can do speculative positions before the market opens for a baby you wish to trade on. So there's side bets. There's all kinds of shit, man. And you can leverage everything. Sushi says, my knife was given to me by a friend. Didn't cost me a dime. That's a good friend, dude. Just giving you a couple G's. Crazy. Yeah, take it easy, Adder. Thanks for coming through. I assume you're probably pretty busy because you're quiet in chat today, but no, it's cool, man. Thanks for coming through. Yeah, I think that's all I've got. I don't think I have anything else.
Yeah, sounds good. We'll be around on Discord like always, and we'll be back tomorrow afternoon. So if you guys have anything you want to talk about, anything you want to see us do, blah, 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 let us know.
Hell yeah. Later, y'all. Have a good one. Be safe. We'll see you tomorrow.
We need to do a raid or anything before we shut this shit down. We got Odd Oculus is the only person on my follows that's up right now.
I wasn't ready for the raid. I don't care about it. Okay. Yeah, take it easy, boys. Thanks for coming through.
All right. Bye, guys.
All right, later.